I just arrived outside of Tower Hill Station, and I actually saw there's a historic guide here, but then it didn't sound interesting, so I couldn't join it. And today's weather is obviously not as good as yesterday's. I was gonna go to the London Eye today, but then this weather is not like the value for going to London Eye, so I decided to go to the Tower of London instead. So I'm gonna take some photos here and then I'm gonna go over there. So you basically have to cross the road and the Tower of London is over here. So if you want to get a ticket, you have to go to this group tickets area regardless if you're coming on your own. You still have to come here. And I've actually been here before, but I remember by the time I arrived, this tower tour was about to close. So that's why I couldn't go in that time. I also asked if I'm allowed to fly my drone here, and they said no, but it's kind of reasonable because there are like so many people walking around here, and this tower hill is like kind of old as well, so it's understandable. I'm gonna go and get my ticket. So I've just bought my ticket. There's actually a tour guide now, so I'm gonna follow along on the back, and this is what it looks like inside.
Buildings that house them in are known as the casemates or houses within the walls. And now all of them, plus that chain going across the road, serves accommodation for my fellow young water colleagues, the beefeaters, their wives, their girlfriends, their unwanted children, and their dogs and their cats. To your right is a tall, dark, narrow archway, known as the byword postern as Sally Port for the royal entrance, beyond which was a small drawbridge leading out to the Queen's Stairs and directly down to the River Thames. Now, rather than travel through the narrow packed streets of London, royalty and nobility would travel down the River Thames in their luxurious barges, tied by those stairs to enter the tower. Those gates are original and date back over 750 years old. In fact, it was exactly beneath that archway that King Henry VIII himself got down on one knee and so lovingly greeted his second wife, Queen Anne Boleyn. In 1535, both men were taken from the bell tower up to Tower Hill for public beheading. 400 years later, in 1935, both men were canonized as saints of the Roman Catholic faith. Now, another famous prisoner to be held in a strong room was a young, beautiful Princess Elizabeth Tudor. Her half-sister, Queen Mary Tudor, had reason to believe Elizabeth was implicated in the Sir Thomas Wyatt rebellion, which was against the Queen's plans to marry King Philip II of Spain. Fortunately, she was proven innocent, although banished to Woodstock for a time. It would be 4 years until she returned to the Tower of London for her very own coronation, and the last time the Queen would visit the Tower of London in her long reign of nearly 45 years. Rather than use the narrow packed streets of London, he decided to use the River Thames as a highway. At high tide, boats would pass through these gates and then load their cargoes in safety, right where you are stood. Therefore, this gate was originally known as the Watergate. Now, Wakefield Tower. Now, when you visit the lower chamber and you walk today, because it's now the Tower's torture exhibit, just imagine, during the War of the Roses, after the Battle of Wakefield, 400 Yorkist prisoners were crammed into that lower dungeon, given no food, no water, left there to literally rot. So when you go in there today, it's quite crammed with about 20 to 30 people in there. Imagine 400 soldiers. It must have been horrific. In the upper chamber, that's where the Lancastrian King Henry VI was murdered, stabbed in the back on the 21st of May, 1471. But immediately adjacent though no longer connected, is the infamous Bloody Tower. As it overlooked and allowed access to the Lieutenant's Garden. Its name would change to the Tower of Blood, or Bloody Tower, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, to commemorate the many tragedies that happened in that upper chamber. Surely the most tragic must be the alleged murder of the two boy princes in 1483. The uncrowned King Edward V and his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, aged 12 and 9. How old are you again? Not good. Their little bodies were smothered to death in that upper chamber, whilst under protection of their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who then became King Richard III. Their little bodies were bundled down the stairs leading to the Wakefield Tower, quickly buried under a pile of stones. The following day, they were moved by an unknown priest to a secret plot under some stairs on the south side of the White Tower, where these bodies remained for 191 years, until during the reign of King Charles II in 1674, workmen discovered a hidden chest. They thought they could be rich from their wildest dreams, but when they opened this chest, what they actually found were the remains of two small skeletons. Experts of the day declared they're indeed the missing princes. So on the orders of the king, they were taken to Westminster Abbey, where they were reinterred in Innocents' Corner, where they remain to this very day. This memorial remembers 3 queens of England, 2 lords, 2 ladies, and 3 soldiers who were excellent. Right, now before I tell you some of their stories, I'm going to tell you about some of the buildings that surround Tower Street. I mean, with our very own eyes, a 19-year-old took it up to Tower Hill for public beheading.
So I'm now entering the Crown Jewel. This is the coolest museum ever. Apparently, the army used to eat this ration biscuit nicknamed Hardtack. So I just finished up at the Fields Senior Museum, and it's now 7 minutes past 2, and I just asked the staff if there's any cafe here, and she said if I turn left, there should be a cafe. So I just finished up at the cafe. I realized I forgot to vlog my lunch. I actually got a tuna and melt peony, and it's like a bread type of thing. And I used my tripod to take a photo with this castle and also with this building. Actually, I kind of want to take a photo with this building as well. So there's actually this Northbourne Tower here. So the River Thames was actually the tower's riverside for centuries. But then King Edward I decided to extend the fortress out. So when I got out of Tower Hill, the blue sky suddenly came out, but it was literally like gray the whole day. I decided to search for more things to do in Tower Hill since the sun now sets at 7. But then later on, in the year, and we start starting at 4, so I won't really want to miss this office advantage. So I found this Tower Hill Memorial thing. So I'm gonna take a photo here. And it says there is this statue of Churchill, but I did manage to take a photo of this cloud. So I'll pop it up on the screen now. So I think this is the Church of St. Peter. So I'm gonna see if I can go inside. Oh, there's no. This is a memorial. So this is the Trinity Square Gardens. But it doesn't look as nice now. I feel like the pictures look a lot nicer. So I was on my way to looking for this Samuel Happy culture thing, and I saw this statue here, and actually the water theme is quite nice. I think I might try to take a photo here. Oh, I thought I got faked by Google Maps again, but then I realized the Samuel Happy sculpture is here. Actually, I feel like this is quite a good spot for. So I was just going to Sir Simon Milton's statue, and I saw this statue, so I decided to take a photo. So I kind of wanted to go to this Sir Simon Milton statue, but then I saw the Tower Bridge on the way, and it's actually one of my bucket lists to see it at night. So I'm trying to think where I should take a photo with it. I think I might take a photo with it here. So I basically spent around 10 minutes here trying to wait for a moment where there's no one walking past, and I finally did it. And I'm gonna walk back to the Tower Hill station as it is getting late. So when I was supposedly walking to the Simon statue thing, I actually walked past this tunnel and took a photo here. Actually, there's less people now. Maybe I'll retake one photo. So I'm back at Tower Hill Station now. So I'm gonna end this vlog here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you all next Sunday with another hiking vlog or music related video.